I guess.
So there's you an idea on that one. Before I get over to our college rankings, what I did on the rankings, Hunter, I went back and did the math on them and put everybody where they're supposed to be. So I updated that for you. So we can kind of talk about that. We decided, Andre and I, that while we think it's neat and cool to reward the champions of the non-Power 5, that the powers that be would never allow that to happen.
Yes, I can agree with that.
So what we decided to do, folks, this is Kevin Hastings, and with approval from Andre and Hunter, playoff format, what's it called when you, proposal, there we go.
Yeah.
Proposal. We want all 16 teams, automatic qualifiers for the 10 Power 5 teams that make their conference championship game. They'll get the top 10 seeds. Winners will get the top 5. Losers get the next 5. Then the next 5 seeds are from the non-Power 5. The group of 5 is what we call them.
Yes, the group of 5.
Conferences after
we call them the lesser 5,
which includes Apps Conference, the Sun Belt.
No, they should call them the weaker 5.
Yeah, if it's Power 5,
the Power 5, we just call them the weaker 5 or the sidekicks.
The girl push-ups 5.
I guess whatever. So dumb.
Or remember when I don't know. At some point they said they're not girl push-ups; they're called modified because they don't want to offend anyone.
Right. I'll do that then.
There you go. So
the modified group.
And so the 16 seed, I decided to give to an independent / Division 2 or 3 school, if you even want it, or 1AA, to anyone other than a Power 5. Basically, whatever bid you want. And
16 to me, I feel like that should just be open to the highest ranked independent. But do as you wish.
But what if all the independents suck, and then somebody like say Montana's undefeated in Division 1AA, 14-0, win the championship, and then you're like, okay,
North Dakota State.
Let's put in Air Force at 6-6. Well, they're in the conference now, but is it one of them? Is it Navy? One of them's not in the conference anymore.
I think it's Army.
Now Army, there you go. At 6-6, or do we put in, like I said, the Montana team or the Gardner Webb? So just whoever it is.
Well, technically, after this year, Notre Dame will go back to independent. So
whoever it is going to get their ass kicked in the first round at the 16 seed. So to argue about who it should be, if you're arguing, well, my third place ACC team, Tar Heels deserve over BYU. No, the fuck they don't.
Okay,
you don't got beat
here.
So here's what we got, folks. Here are the matchups for the playoffs. Dun 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 dun. All right, first round. 116 would be Clemson BYU. This is if it ended today, folks. And we're going to do this every week because it's going to change every week once the Big Ten, Pac-12, or Pac-14 start playing football. The WAC hadn't played, right, either?
Neither's the MAC.
Or the MAC. So we got 4 conferences that haven't even played yet. So 4 of these.
Mountain West hadn't played either.
5 of these plus, so 6 of these spots are going to change at some point. So we got 116 BYU. Then we got the 8 and 9 seeds, 2 teams that are second in their conferences, Hunter. So they would be in the 8 and 9, and I did them after I did the top 5, and then I did their rankings in order. I did the next 5, and I put their rankings in order. Did the same thing with the group of 5. So that's how we got the order. So right now, Iowa State would be playing at Wisconsin. Good matchup, Hunter?
Very good.
Then in that same bracket, Oklahoma State in round 1 would be hosting. This is the Sun Belt spot right now. It could be one of the other spots, but currently it's Coastal Carolina. It could be Appalachian State or one of these other ones. So Oklahoma State hosting Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, the Fighting Chickens, Hunter. Okay. It's where Peter really hadn't got on about that one.
Oh, God.
Oregon Ducks at the 5 seed. This would be a Green Bowl, hosting the Marshall Thundering Herd. Then on the other side of the bracket, Alabama Crimson Tide hosting Akron. The Zips. Now, the reason the Zips are in that spot, Hunter, is purely one reason only.
They start with A.
Alphabetical.
Yep.
That conference hadn't played yet. I think I looked back. I think Central Michigan might have won that conference last year. No, it was either Central Michigan and Miami of Ohio tied for that conference championship last year. But I put Akron in there because they're A's. I love their logo.
It's a kangaroo.
Do you know what the zips is for though? Has nothing to do with.
Is it because of a zipper on a hoodie?
No. About tires. That in Akron is Goodyear headquarters. That's where the blimp. That's where the blimp is at. So something to do with that. I don't know the exact. My roommate told me one time. I guess we could all Wikipedia it if we wanted to. But my roommate told me one time, and I thought that was very interesting. Little story there. The Akron Zips are named after something with the Goodyear tires, and their kangaroos from Australia. So
Where you go?
that's like the Alabama is a red wave
But it's an elephant
mascot, and when they score, they have an elephant blow his tusk. Can't
Trunk.
blow his tusk, blow his trunk. Tar Heels are named after Civil War fighters, basically.
Oh my God!
And
It's a ram.
and they're the ram. They're a ram, but they're not called the Rams. It's, at least that thing's called an elephant. TNUSC Trojans at Georgia. Hunter, how would you feel about the Bulldogs
We'd blow them out.
playing the Trojans?
We'd blow them out.
Okay. Number 3, Ohio State hosting Boise State Broncos.
Be nice to watch.
Then we would have Notre Dame and Cincinnati. Would that be the closest game
Yes.
of week 1 besides maybe Iowa State, Wisconsin?
I still think Wisconsin could probably lay a whipping
Yeah.
on Iowa State. That's just because Wisconsin will play defense. Iowa State won't.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati, Notre Dame would be the closest.
Okay. Now let's look ahead to the next week, Hunter. So basically, what you would do is these teams play at home, and round 2 though would be the bowls, the Power 5 bowls. So you got your 4 bowls, and you got your whatever. So, well, no, that wouldn't be round 2. Let's see. If round 2 would be 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and then the next round would be 2. However you want to do it, whatever. It'd be at a neutral site, preferably. But if you want to do first 2 rounds at home, you could. So we'd have Clemson, Wisconsin in round 1. Now we're going to go chalk on these folks because there's argument. Well, you only do 8 teams, and you do that. So if you do 8, you're cutting teams off. There's going to be teams that make championship games that aren't making it. There's definitely the group of 5 aren't going to make it. So Oklahoma State and Oregon, Hunter, the O versus the O.
I would give the nod to Oklahoma State.
Okay. Alabama and Georgia for the 3rd time would be playing based on the rankings this year in the 2nd round of the playoffs. Will the 3rd time be a charm? No. Or are you taking 3 ass whoopings from Alabama this year?
Probably 3 ass whippings. They haven't learned. Like Kirby Smart can't get past Nick Saban. I don't understand it.
What I want to get about as far as Alabama goes, they have studs at wide receiver every year.
Every year.
And they never have a quarterback that's worth a damn. Them and Ohio State.
Mac Jones is going to be pretty good, but
It's going to be in the NFL?
Probably.
Maybe.
He's looking really good this year.
And then Notre Dame, Cincinnati, who you got? It'll be Notre Dame, Ohio State. So Tom would get his Irish.
His hate for the Irish.
His Irish. They'll say if it just goes chalk, which everybody thinks it would. So we'd have
Let's go chalk.
Clemson, Oklahoma State, and Alabama, Ohio State.
And guess what? Some would argue, well, there's your 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why'd you play the other games?
Because
we
guess
give them
what,
an
folks?
opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's better. This isn't hard for Coastal Carolina to play Oklahoma State in a playoff game than Alabama play Mercer in week 1. Or Alabama play Western Carolina in week 5. That's the argument. Well, what are we going to do? Well, you get a home game for making the playoffs or for being a good team. That's your first one. So you get to make up that Mercer gate you lost.
Yep.
And then, again, you get to play these teams the same. It would end up being about the same number of games. So, yeah, I think they could do this. This would be my ultimate get her done type thing because I want everyone with a chance. And it would set up moments that it would set up March Madness type moments. What did we call it the other day? January Jubilation?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
January Jubilee.
Yeah. And listen, there's no guarantee that Oregon beats Marshall. There's no guarantee that After what I saw this weekend from Notre Dame, they beat Cincinnati. I mean, there's just no guarantee that. Look, Georgia could get beat by Southern Cal, and then Southern Cal has to play Alabama. Alabama and Southern Cal were supposed to play this year in a non-conference game. That didn't happen. Well, it could have happened here, and I want everybody to understand too. Clemson and Wisconsin. There's no guarantee it's a blowout. I think Clemson still wins. There's no guarantee it's a blowout because Wisconsin, what do they do usually? They run the ball, control the clock, and play hard defense. So, giving everybody an opportunity is just as good as knocking everybody out.
Our arguments are basically, wouldn't it be better if Clemson played BYU, Wisconsin, Oklahoma State, and Alabama instead of...
think about it. At the NFL level, if the NFL did it exactly how college football does it right now and only take the top 4, we don't get those 2 wins by Tennessee last year in the playoffs.
Eli Manning would not have a Super Bowl.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Eli Manning wouldn't have 2 Super Bowls.
It's ridiculous.
Hey, Brady could be 7... Oh, no. He's got, 6-3?
Yeah, it could be
8-1 if it wasn't for Eli Manning.
Oof.
If it wasn't for if we voted teams in, Hunter, Brady would be 8-1 in the Super Bowl.
Probably.
And then we wouldn't be talking about whether he is the GOAT or not, or people, would argue that still. There you go.